All the novel characters she liked suddenly orbited around her. But before Shreya could enjoy it, she realized she was the wicked supporting heroine from the original story. She had been pulled into the BL/B novel she herself had written. Those ridiculously handsome men were the ones who would eventually shove her into the abyss. 3 months earlier, Shreya had been a writer who only produced bleak, tragic endings. She never expected that on the day she turned in her manuscript, the heroine's lingering grudge would drag her into a two-dimensional world. When she opened her eyes again, she found herself lying on the back of a strikingly handsome boy. As if sensing Shreya had woken, the boy's movements immediately grew rough. His eyes were cold, all contempt. Newly transmigrated, she had no idea what was going on and thought she was still in the real world. Then the man stopped walking and scowled down at her with a dark face. "If you get in my way, I won't let you off." She was utterly confused, staring blankly at the man before her. She didn't even know who he was. But his harsh voice came again, sharp and accusatory. "You think moving next door to me, clinging to Shin Young every day and crushing her pride, will somehow make you happy?" The moment she heard the name Shin Young, Shreya finally realized the furious, devil-like man before her was none other than the male lead of her own novel, Kang Min-hyuk. His hatred made sense now, because Shreya had possessed the body of the heroine's childhood friend. The same wicked girl who bullied Shin Young for fun, and was eventually killed by Kang Min-hyuk himself, Choi Siwa. She couldn't help recalling her own story. 4 men had fallen for Shin Young, a tale that began as a simple, bittersweet romance. But things had spiraled into chaos. Every male lead was more twisted than the last. Lin Yaohan, filthy rich yet violently short-tempered. Kwon Ryul, a genius with a sociopathic streak. Kim Myung-suk, gentle on the surface but rotten inside. And finally, Kang Min-hyuk, the ruthless lunatic who would stop at nothing for Shin Young. They were all born to lose their minds for her. The villainous Shreya had become, Choi Si, was like Shin Young, an orphan. But unlike her, she was born stunningly beautiful, adored by almost everyone around her. Everyone except Kang Min-hyuk. He never spared her a glance. No matter how hard Siwa tried, Min-hyuk's eyes were fixed only on Shin Young. That unreturned obsession twisted Siwa's jealousy into rage, driving her to the point of wanting to kill Shin Young herself. But the plan failed miserably and she met a gruesome end instead. Afterward, Shin Young blamed herself for Siwa's death and began distancing herself from all 4 male leads. The story closed with Shin Young taking her own life. A tragic finale. And now that Shreya had become the wicked Choi Siwa, her own death seemed inevitable. But if some grudge had dragged her into this world to watch her suffer, she wasn't about to play along. She would shatter this cursed ending, and find her way out of this high school romance novel, back to the real world. During her first week after transmigrating, Shreya tried her best to survive, constantly showing kindness to the heroine Shin Young. She wasn't sure if it worked, but the 4 devil male leads seemed to treat her a little better. Kang Min-hyuk no longer lashed out like on the first day. Kim Myung-suk was still the same shy, blushing boy. Lin Yaohan hadn't changed either. The only problem was that those 2 always ended up fighting the moment they met. All because of her. And then there was Kwon Ryul, the one she could never figure out. Among the 4, he was the warmest. But when she learned that the man who saved her from Kang Min-hyuk on her very first day in this world had actually been Kwon Ryul, a chill ran down her spine. Lately, his overly gentle attitude made her uneasy, as if something big was about to happen. And soon enough, it did. Yes, the pretty villainess of the whole story, Choi Seo, Shreya's new identity, naturally drew endless admirers. This was Lee Ji-suk's 99th confession. His relentless persistence was starting to make even Shin Young nervous. When he confessed again, face burning red, Shreya turned him down without hesitation. That only made him snap. "You rejected me because you like Kang Min-hyuk, didn't you?" Shreya didn't bother to defend herself against the sharp accusation, but Shin Young clearly took it to heart. The anxiety and panic on Young's face didn't escape Kang Min-hyuk's eyes. Watching her dig her nails into her palms, he finally lost patience with the drama. He stepped behind Shreya, voice cold and commanding. "She said she's not into you. Now get lost." That domineering tone startled Shreya. For a second she was actually glad, ready to thank him for stepping in. But then she caught his chilling stare and the three brutal words that followed. You too. Leave. The boy kept pestering her afterward, but every time Kang Min-hyuk would intervene, each time with a darker glare than before. Judging by how her novel's plot had gone, his revenge was getting closer. And sure enough, it came fast. A flower pot from above crashed down right in front of her. When she looked up, the only thing she saw was Kang Min-hyuk's cold silhouette. He was bold enough to strike in broad daylight now. Shia forced herself to stay calm, vowing to find a way to clear their misunderstanding later. Suddenly, she heard an argument nearby. Without thinking, she crept toward the sound to eavesdrop. But as the saying goes, there's always a bigger predator. Moments after she left, a shadow appeared where she'd been, muttering, "Damn it, those two really are in the way." Luckily, Shia's curiosity saved her by coincidence. She stumbled upon a couple arguing. The boy had apparently been caught cheating red-handed. Acting like he didn't care, he snapped, "Fine, then let's break up." The girl's brows furrowed the instant she heard the word break up. Before the cheating boyfriend could finish his sentence, the girl slapped him so hard his face swelled like a pig's head. Still fuming, she stormed off, vowing to find the vixen who'd seduced her man. And that very same scumbag happened to be Shia's only lifeline at the moment. "Rominam, will you go out with me?" The playboy she had once written, always smooth, never sentimental, actually blushed at her sudden confession. For a guy who worshipped good looks, Shia was confident she could win him over. Dating Rominam would kill 3 birds with 1 stone. She could escape Kang Min-hyuk and Lee Ji-suk's obsession and feel zero guilt in the process. Hell, she'd even be helping the jerk solve his girlfriend problem. But to her shock, Rominam smiled gently and said, "Sorry, I refused. A confession without love means nothing to me." Shia froze. Since when did this notorious flirt preach about love? Before she could speak, the side character suddenly leaned forward, gaze sharp, clearly seeing through her that he already knew she'd confessed because of Kang Min-hyuk. But completely misunderstood, thinking Shia was heartbroken and trying to use him to make Min-hyuk taste his own medicine. Shia was dumbfounded by his ridiculous logic. She had zero interest in arguing with this idiot any further. But just as she turned to leave, Rominam called out, "I can't date you, but I can help you get revenge." His idea of revenge clearly wasn't the same as hers, but having a partner in crime might make things easier down the road. Soon the bell rang. After reminding the class about what to prepare for next week's training session, the homeroom teacher asked class rep Kwon Ryol to come to the office. Shia had just been invited by Shin A-young to go shopping together, a rare moment of peace. But then a loud, untimely voice interrupted. "Sorry, can't do that. Siwa's going on a date with me today." The sudden hug left Shia frozen in place. Shin A-young stood there, completely stunned, staring at the delinquent boy with earrings and long hair. She looked crushed. Why would Siwa hang out with someone like that? Not only was he clinging to her in public, but when his gaze met Kang Min-hyuk's cold eyes, he smirked provocatively. "Siwa's my girlfriend now, Kang Min-hyuk. Regret it yet?" After deliberately angering the dark-hearted male lead, Shia quickly kept her distance from the crazy handsome troublemaker. After all, it was all just for show. But the guy started pestering her afterward, shamelessly asking for couple pay, dinners, games and dates as his fee. Shia couldn't tell anymore if he was just teasing her, or if he was actually playing some twisted game of push and pull. Shia soon realized this guy didn't treat her like a girl at all. He picked the most expensive restaurant in town and made her finish every single dish on the table. Then he dragged her onto a roller coaster that nearly made her puke. She thought the nightmare was over, until Rominam decided they should hike a mountain for 2 straight hours. By the time Shia got home, her soul was halfway to heaven. That's when it hit her. Behind his cheerful, harmless smile, Rominam had a twisted streak of his own. At this rate, she'd die of exhaustion long before Kang Min-hyuk ever got to her. While Shia was out dying for fun, Shin A-young had spent the whole day worrying about her. Even though Kang Min-hyuk stayed close to A-young, he'd never truly gotten through to her heart. Whenever he tried to check the small cut on her hand, she'd instinctively pull away. Kang Min-hyuk knew it well. He could never compete with Choi Siwa in A-young's heart. All he could do was watch her nervously scratch her palm raw over that girl. Is it because of Siwa's stupid admirers again? When he said it, A-young tried to act calm, but her worry bled through, afraid that Siwa might get fooled by that jerk named Rominam. She pleaded softly, "Could you keep an eye on her for me? You live in the same neighborhood after all." Kang Min-hyuk didn't like that girl one bit, but seeing A-young's anxious face tugged at something inside him. Against his better judgment, he nodded. And just like that, the gloomy A-young's face brightened with relief. But Kang Min-hyuk had no idea that by agreeing to keep an eye on Siwa, he was walking straight into trouble. Lying in bed that night, Shia suddenly received an anonymous text. "If you want Shin A-young to stay safe, come to the library before 10 p.m. It was clearly a setup, but with A-young's safety on the line, Shia had no choice but to go. When she arrived at the library, the place was deserted. No sign of A-young anywhere. This was definitely a trap. But she never wrote this scene in the novel. Could her presence here be changing the storyline itself? Before she could think further, a flash of silver cut through the dark. A blade slashed her arm. Hot blood splattered onto the floor, the sharp sting almost knocking the breath out of her. A chilling male voice echoed from the shadows. "Lucky you. Next time I won't miss." When the man removed his mask, Shia wasn't surprised, just horrified to see how far he'd fallen. It was Lee Ji-suk. He was completely unhinged now, shouting why she'd gone to Rominam. "You want revenge? Why not take it with me?" Shia was baffled. How did he even know? Even if he'd overheard her talking to Rominam, she denied wanting revenge. Someone must have twisted her words. But before she could figure out who was pulling the strings, Lee Ji-suk stepped closer, eyes gleaming with madness. "Be my girlfriend, or else." How could she possibly accept a madman's confession? The moment Lee Ji-suk lunged at her, Shia was already bracing to fight back. For someone like him, pain was the only cure. She grabbed a nearby fire extinguisher and blasted it straight at his face. Covered in white dust, Lee Ji-suk barely had time to react before Shia bolted from the scene. But when she tried to smash a window to escape, she realized it was reinforced glass, thanks to her own brilliant writing choice when she made the library bulletproof. To make things worse, her phone had dropped during the struggle, and the night guards wouldn't show up until morning. Being stuck inside a world full of lunatics was bad enough. And now the sound of approaching footsteps told her the maniac was coming again. Shia shoved aside her panic, clutching the extinguisher and hiding in the shadows. If she couldn't run, she'd fight. Holding her breath, she waited until the footsteps were right behind her, then swung with all her strength, but the extinguisher never hit. A strong hand caught it midair. It wasn't Lee Ji-suk standing there. It was Kang Min-hyuk, the cold, calculating male lead. Why was he here? And worse, he was actually asking if she was hurt. No way, had he gone insane too? When Kang Min-hyuk demanded an explanation, his voice sharp and commanding, Shia panicked and blurted out a lie. She'd just tripped and fallen. The moment she finished speaking, a door creaked open somewhere in the library. Lee Ji-suk had followed the noise and found his way there. But when he stepped closer, the place was empty. After a pause, he turned to search the next aisle. To avoid being caught, Shia acted on instinct. She tackled Kang Min-hyuk to the floor, thinking she'd explain later once they were safe. When Lee Ji-suk's footsteps finally faded away, Shia caught her breath and quickly explained that she'd been trapped here because Lee Ji-suk, rejected 99 times, had lost his mind and wanted to kill her. Maybe Shin A-young had been right. Choi Siwa always attracted disaster, so perhaps that was why this girl could stay so unnervingly calm. When Shia asked why Kang Min-hyuk was here, he stayed silent for a long moment before muttering, "Because A-young asked me to look after her childhood friend." He clearly didn't intend to explain further. "You don't need to know the details," he said curtly, turning to leave. Shia grabbed his arm, refusing to let go. Lee Ji-suk was still armed. She wasn't about to face that psycho alone. But Kang Min-hyuk wasn't having it. He shook her off, cold and distant, as if sharing the same air with her was intolerable. Ignoring him, Shia searched for something to defend herself with. She spotted a baseball bat nearby and reached for it, only to hear a violent crash outside, followed by the sharp clatter of a knife hitting the floor. Kang Min-hyuk had already taken Lee Ji-suk down. His voice came out low and cutting. "Didn't I tell you to stay out of my sight? What's that brain of yours for, decoration?" The moment Kang Min-hyuk remembered what Ro Minam had said to him earlier that day, his rage boiled over. He took it all out on Lee Ji-suk. Watching from the side, Shia broke into a cold sweat. Yep, still the same violent maniac of a male lead. She forced herself to speak up, telling him to stop, that he probably thought she was defending Lee Ji-suk. But Shia didn't care whether that creep lived or died. She just wanted to know where Shin A-young was. She suspected Lee Ji-suk might have kidnapped her. Kang Min-hyuk, of course, knew that was impossible, that he'd literally just seen A-young moments ago. Even if something had happened, what could Shia possibly do? Stung by his cold dismissal, Shia snapped back, "Then why are you here? Even if she's fine, what if something else happened?" The tension was thick when a calm voice suddenly cut through it. "Enough, both of you." The newcomer froze at the sight. Lee Ji-suk bleeding on the floor, Shia with a cut on her cheek, and hurried over to steady her. "Hello, I'm Kang Min-hyuk's secretary. Will cover any damages or losses you've suffered." Expecting an outburst, he was surprised when Shia simply said, "Kang Min-hyuk saved me. That if you want to talk compensation, talk to Lee Ji-suk." With someone to handle cleanup, Kang Min-hyuk prepared to leave, motioning for Shia to follow. The secretary couldn't help but wonder, weren't these two supposed to hate each other? When did the vibe between them change? Back home, Kang Min-hyuk couldn't shake his irritation. And no matter how he looked at it, Siwa's sudden change of attitude made no sense. People didn't just change overnight. Her worrying about Shin A-young, impossible. That was when Shin A-young called. She'd woken up to find over 10 missed calls from Siwa. And when she called back with no answer, she reached out to Kang Min-hyuk for answers. After assuring her that Siwa was safe, Kang Min-hyuk canceled their dinner plans. His mind was now filled with only one person, Siut. He needed to see just how long she could keep up this act. At dawn, the doorbell jolted Siwa awake. When she opened the door, the last person she wanted to see was standing there, Kang Min-hyuk. Showing up like some overbearing Siu, he demanded she come with him. Of course, he had no idea the Siwa before him wasn't the same one as before, and she only thought he was picking a fight. "If you don't want anyone to know you were threatened with a knife," he snapped, "then shut up and get changed." Siwa frowned. "I can handle myself. Don't bother, and don't come here again." She tried to shut the door, but he blocked it with his hand. "For 2 years you've been harassing me. What, I can't come to you now?" She wanted to say that wasn't me, but his glare was murderous. "Don't tell me you're denying it again." Realizing there was no point arguing, she sighed. "Fine. I'll go, okay?" Watching him pay at the front desk, Shia finally realized he'd brought her to a dermatologist. Was this because of Shin A-young? Ever since she'd transmigrated, the story had shifted. Shin A-young was no longer bullied or isolated. She was cheerful now, radiant even. Shia could almost understand why Kang Min-hyuk treated her with that awkward care. But that kind of tenderness was something he was supposed to show only to Shin A-young. So even after she started dating Ro Minam, he still didn't trust her. He probably thought if he showed her a bit of kindness, she'd cling to him again, just so he'd have an excuse to get rid of her later. And honestly, that was exactly the kind of thing Kang Min-hyuk would do. The more Shia thought about it, the angrier she got. Fine, she decided, if he thinks I'm playing games, I'll give him a show. "Kang Min-hyuk, can you come somewhere with me?" Kang Min-hyuk smirked inwardly. Knew it, she can't stay quiet for long. The fox finally shows her tail. Soon after, Siwa held up 2 outfits, asking which one he thought looked better. "Here we go," he thought. Impatient with her theatrics, he just pointed at the black one. To his surprise, Siwa bought the blue one instead, explaining sweetly, "Black's too gloomy. Blue suits Minam better. Thanks for your terrible taste. It really helped me decide." Kang Min-hyuk's jaw dropped. It was the first time in his life someone had humiliated him so directly. Before he could recover, Siwa launched into full shopping frenzy mode, grabbing items like there was no tomorrow. When he finally snapped out of it, he realized he'd been turned into her personal pack mule. "Choi Si, what the hell are you doing?" he shouted, trembling with fury. Siwa smiled innocently. "Minam's birthday's coming up. I couldn't carry all this by myself, so thanks to you I can finally shop in peace." Kang Min-hyuk was livid. "You're going too far." She tilted her head playfully. "Too heavy? I thought you were strong. You flattened Lee Ji-suk pretty easily, remember? Guess you're not as tough as I thought." "And what's next?" "A bookstore," he muttered through gritted teeth. Siwa shot him a sideways glance. "We're students, aren't we? Of course we need to study." Then she smiled, waving a hand. "Wait here, I'll be right back." Kang Min-hyuk watched her closely. To act this convincingly, she's either a genius or a completely different person. He remembered that strange moment after Choi Siwa had fainted. waking up disoriented, not even recognizing him or knowing where she was. He shook his head. What am I thinking? It's just one of her tricks. Another way to get attention. His secretary chuckled slyly. So that's your type, huh? Honestly, Choi Siwa's gorgeous. No shame in being interested. Kang Min-hyuk shot him a glare. Gorgeous. Don't talk crap. The secretary grinned, nodding toward the people around them. You sure? Look at how everyone's staring. Same thing earlier while shopping. Guys couldn't stop sneaking glances. If you want that girl, you'd better step up your game. Just then 2 men approached, one of them stammering shyly, excuse me, do you? Before he could finish, a sharp voice cut in. Get lost. The men froze, then slunk away in defeat, mumbling, figures. A girl that pretty must already have a boyfriend. Kang Min-hyuk clicked his tongue. Enough. We're leaving. She's bought enough already. But just before getting into the car, he changed his mind. I've got somewhere to go. Send her home first. Sitting in the car, Siwa finally exhaled in relief. Guess I passed whatever test that was. Maybe he'll stop bothering me now. But minutes later, Kang Min-hyuk reappeared, this time carrying several gift bags. You shouldn't dress so flashy, he said coolly. Don't want another Lee Ji-suk type showing up again. Inside the bags weren't just clothes. There were self-defense tools too. A stun baton, pepper spray, even a tracker. Siwa glared at him. Are you done? Did you forget I have a boyfriend? Kang Min-hyuk's logic was as twisted as ever. And what does that have to do with it? When you were in danger, where was your boyfriend? What if it happens again? Siwa's voice turned icy. I don't care what Ro Minam does. And even if I am in danger, it has nothing to do with you, Kang Min-hyuk. He paused for just a moment, then dropped a bombshell. Then if you dated me, wouldn't that solve everything? Her expression froze. She tapped her temple. Kang Min-hyuk, are you seriously sick in the head? You should probably get that checked out. He looked dead serious. Sorry to disappoint you. I'm perfectly fine. She rolled her eyes. What, trying to fight crazy with crazy? Hoping I'll back off, he denied flatly. Stop dodging the question. Answer me seriously. Siwa snapped, her patience gone. Kang Min-hyuk, I'll say this one last time. Listen carefully. I fucking hate you. The only reason I put up with you is because you're A Young's friend. Let's be honest, things between us were never pleasant. You're making it worse. So let's just keep up the act in front of A Young and leave it at that. Kang Min-hyuk was silent for a moment, then smirked. Funny. I fucking hate you too. Siwa didn't expect Kang Min-hyuk to smile after being cursed out like that. Whatever. None of her business. She waved him off. If you're done, then leave. But before she could step away, he caught her wrist. Wait. Remember to use that healing cream on your cut. If it scars, cover it with concealer. And he added, his tone turning firm, A Young's worried about you. For the next few days we'll go to and from school together. You're okay with that, right? Siwa forced a nod. Resisting would probably just make him double down. Of course, agreeing didn't mean she'd actually do it. The moment he looked away, she grinned inwardly. Perfect chance. Time to run. But before she could escape far, a familiar voice called out. She turned. And of course it was him again. Where are you rushing off to? He didn't even wait for an answer. Don't waste time. Get in the car. God, he's so damn annoying, she thought, grinding her teeth. Soon came the 3-day, 2-night training camp. Each team of 2 had to split up and gather their own food. The troublemaker behind this event was Park Ji-eun, who'd cozied up to Shin A-young, pretending to be friendly so she could get close to Kang Min-hyuk. But when Kang Min-hyuk's attention stayed fixed on A-young alone, Ji-eun's jealousy snapped. She pushed A-young off a cliff in a fit of rage. Luckily, A-young survived after falling into a river. But that accident flipped a switch in the male leads' minds, awakening their madness. Now she had a problem. Why was her partner none other than Lin Yaohan, the guy who clashed with Choi Siwa in every way? He acted like a rabid dog, hostile toward her and even threatening to kill Siwa if she slowed him down. Shouldn't that be something she's saying, not him? At the school training session, Siwa took on a scavenger task. Find the hidden notes and trade them in for the listed ingredients. When she finally found the supplies, she remembered how she jokingly set the quantities by grams in her novel, and wanted to smack herself for being so petty. A voice came from behind. Siwa, you're climbing too. After that fake date, Ro Minam already knows you hate hiking. Hearing she didn't want to argue with Lin Yaohan, the pink-haired kid immediately offered to help, and Siwa didn't want to be a burden. He grabbed her hand and said, I told you before, acting needs soul. Besides, isn't helping your girlfriend what a boyfriend should do? The farther they went, the denser the trees became, and Siwa was reminded again how frightening his stamina was. You're worse than Lin Yaohan, she muttered. Ro Minam snorted. Can't believe your endurance is this bad. Want me to carry you? Maybe it's because you haven't rested. She'd been through hell a few days ago, and now she was being dragged around again, until finally they'd collected enough food. But the pink-haired kid was oddly insistent on carrying her and kept searching. Siwa thought darkly. If you're going to wear me out, I might as well bury you first. Realizing his joke had gone too far, Ro Minam quickly tried to smooth things over. Hey, I'm your boyfriend, remember? It's my job to help you. He grinned and told Siwa to wait while he went to look for more supplies. But Siwa knew her own creation too well. If that guy said wait here, he'd never be back before sunset. The smart move was to ditch him now. In her rush to leave, she didn't notice her footing and nearly stumbled. Not far away, Park Ji-yoon appeared. She deliberately volunteered to handle the ingredient hunt with Shin A-young, just so she could get closer to Kang Min-hyuk. When she finally caught up to him, his eyes were cold. Who are you? You've been pretending to know me all this time. You're annoying. Can you just shut up? Determined to catch his attention, Ji-yoon copied everything about Shin A-young. Her expressions, her gestures, her tone. And no matter what it took, she would make Kang Min-hyuk notice her. Just then, a faint sound came from nearby. Ji-yoon froze, her pulse quickening. Was that Kang Min-hyuk? She followed the direction of the voice, dark thoughts curling through her mind. Kang Min-hyuk, you'd better not reject me too harshly, because if you do, I can't promise what I'll do next. When she parted the bushes, she stopped dead in her tracks. Kang Min-hyuk's expression was surprisingly gentle. Told you, he said softly, that guy's unreliable. I in his arms was Choi Siut. He held her like a jealous lover, scolding, that pink-haired idiot left you alone. I knew it. Siwa frowned in disgust. Did you forget what I said? We're only pretending for A-young's sake. Her cold tone made Kang Min-hyuk grit his teeth. Then stop doing dangerous things. You think I want to get involved? Before she could answer, he suddenly interrupted. Where are you hurt? Sia's face darkened instantly. I'm not hurt. Just stay away from me. A faint rustling came from behind. She turned sharply. Nothing. No one was there. Was it just her imagination? When she looked closer, she saw Ji-yoon hiding behind a tree. When did she get here? Damn it. Anyone seeing this would think she and Kang Min-hyuk were being intimate. Maybe she could use this. If Ji-yoon believed there was something between her and Min-hyuk, maybe it would stop her from hurting A-young. If the story veered just a little, the mad love route might never trigger. With that thought, Siwa's tone softened, deliberately teasing. I think I twisted my ankle. It hurts. Can you carry me? Kang Min-hyuk frowned but still lifted her easily, muttering, hold on tight. Her rare display of warmth caught him off guard. The tension between them eased slightly, and in the distance Ji-yoon watched, frozen in disbelief. The soft, ambiguous air between the two made her grind her teeth in rage. Back at the dorm, Siwa successfully traded the notes for plenty of ingredients. Worried she might be tired, A-young smiled gently. Go rest, Siwa, I'll handle dinner. But Lin Yaohan immediately protested, pressing her down to stop her. Rest? What about us? You think we're not tired? And just like that, the two were bickering again. Watching them argue, Siwa couldn't help but smile faintly. She turned to Kwon Ryul and asked softly, is there anything I can help with? He was about to answer when Ji-yoon suddenly appeared, volunteering enthusiastically that she'd been preparing for this for days, even studying cooking guides, determined to make a lasting impression. The problem? Her enthusiasm was violent. The chopping sounds were so loud the whole table trembled. Choi Si, oh, why the hell are you chopping like that? Lin Yaohan snapped. Siwa didn't even look up. It's cut, isn't it? Stop hovering and mind your own stuff. Lin Yaohan pointed furiously at the cutting board. You've butchered it. Now I've got to go dig up new veggies. Move, I'll do it. He took over, and somehow made it worse. Ji-yoon watched from the side, smirking. So much for worrying. With cooking skills that bad, Kang Min-hyuk's gonna lose interest in her sooner or later. Once he sees her mess up a few more times and compares her to me, he'll be mine in no time. But then Kang Min-hyuk suddenly walked over, snatched the knife from Siwa's hands and started cooking himself. Step aside before you destroy the cutting board too, he said flatly. Siwa glared at. You're unbelievable. You think I'd actually break? Ow. I cut myself. she hissed, lifting her finger. Kang Min-hyuk deadpanned, "You should apologize to the cutting board." The two bickered playfully, the tension oddly light. Jun's face twisted with anger. She turned on her heel and stormed out, while Siwa's eyes quietly followed her. Guess that hit her hard. But maybe I should push a little more. When Ro Minam came looking for Siwa, only A-young and Lin Yaohan were there. A-young clearly didn't like him, but since he was Siwa's friend, she couldn't outright refuse when he cheerfully invited her to eat with them. She hesitated, then agreed. Still, her guard never dropped. When the pink-haired boy proudly offered his homemade curry, A-young said bluntly, "I don't like curry." Ro Minam blinked in confusion. "Really? Seo told me you loved it. Guess even best friends don't know everything about each other." The moment A-young heard Siwa's name, she panicked and quickly backtracked. "Oh, actually, I do like curry." Lin Yaohan burst out laughing. "Wow, Shin A-young, that's adorable. Jealous of your best friend's boyfriend already?" Her face flushed crimson. "Shut up, Lin Yaohan," she snapped, only for him to laugh even harder. Then he turned his teasing toward Ro Minam. "You've got guts, man. Getting involved with Choi Siwa. I heard you're quite the playboy. Guess the rumors are true." Ro Minam blinked, then smiled faintly. "So that's why everyone's been so cold to me." His tone softened as he looked at A-young. "I didn't realize that rumor caused so much trouble. I don't expect you to trust me now. But I'll prove it with actions. I don't want Siwa's best friend to hate me after all." "What a joke." A cold voice cut in. Kang Min-hyuk stood by the door, his expression unreadable. "You don't even know where Siwa is and you're here pretending to care." Meanwhile, Siwa had found Jiun, bringing her a meal as an excuse to talk. Jiun forced a polite smile. "Oh, you didn't have to." But deep down she wanted to rip her to shreds. Siwa's smile deepened, her tone sugar-sweet. "I actually asked Min-hyuk to make this himself. If you don't eat it, he might get upset. So just try a little, okay?" Jun's fake smile vanished instantly. "Hey Choi Siwa, are you trying to start something?" Kang Min-hyuk finally snapped. Hearing Ro Minam mention Siwa's name one too many times, he confronted him head-on. But Ro Minam smirked, unfazed. "Relax, Manda, she's not a little kid in relationships. You gotta give people space." He clapped a hand on Min-hyuk's shoulder, voice dripping with mockery. "What, never been in love before? Want big bro to give you a few lessons?" Min-hyuk shoved his hand away, his tone icy. "If you knew what Siwa went through a few days ago, you wouldn't be saying that." He couldn't stand it. She had nearly died and this idiot didn't even realize it. Then he caught A-young watching from nearby, confusion in her eyes. He exhaled sharply and turned to leave. But Ro Minam called after him, his tone suddenly serious. "You said that as a friend, right?" The warning in his voice was clear. In the dim stairwell, Min-hyuk slammed his fist into the wall. "All talk, useless trash." The rage inside him boiled. "Maybe I should just kill them both." Suddenly, pain exploded in his head. A vision flashed before his eyes. A-young lying in a pool of blood, reaching for him, whispering his name, until her voice faded away. A low, echoing whisper filled his mind. "Your thoughts don't matter. What matters is that A-young needs Choi Si. That's all you need to remember." His eyes dulled, expression hollow, like a puppet whose strings had been pulled too tight. "Choi Si, are you here to pick a fight?" The sudden voice snapped him back to reality, shattering the trance. Siwa looked genuinely puzzled. "What are you talking about?" Jun dropped the act. "You know I like Kang Min-hyuk and you still pull this. That's pathetic. Stop playing games and say it straight." Siwa smiled. "Caught me that you're not as clueless as I thought." "Yep, I did it on purpose." Jun's face went white with anger. Siwa stepped closer, cool as a breeze. "Don't glare at me like that. Min-hyuk's not going to be with you anyway." "Look at you. Pathetic. I was just being kind." Jun cracked. She launched into a tirade and Siwa shoved her back into the room. "Oi, I said my piece. Min-hyuk's waiting. You'll probably get an upset stomach from eating that, right? I even packed you medicine. Try to be sensible tomorrow," Siwa said, all casual. Jun spun around, hissing a threat. "You bitch, Choi Seo. I won't let you get away with this." Even after slamming the door, Jun continued screaming and pounding, "You're dead, bitch." But Siwa only smirked inwardly. "At this rate, she won't dare hurt A-young." Next on her list was Lin Yaohan. Maybe he'd get knocked out with a sleeping pill too. But as she turned, she ran straight into Kim Myung-jae, who looked like he'd heard every word. His expression was unreadable and the air between them suddenly thickened. The author who wrote a twisted bad ending novel was never meant to be normal. Even after being caught threatening someone, it wasn't Choi Siwa who was afraid, it was Kim Myung-jae. Seeing how nervous he looked, Siwa smiled. "Wanna grab dinner together?" she offered casually. Myung-jae visibly relaxed and nodded, following her out. Neither of them noticed the figure standing behind the door, Kang Min-hyuk, silently listening to every word. When Siwa returned to the dining hall, she found Ro Minam there too. A young, almost like she was competing for attention, kept piling food onto Siwa's plate. Amid the cheerful noise, Kim Myung-jae sat quietly, watching the scene with faint envy in his eyes. Later that evening, during their group hangout, Kwon Ryul suddenly brought up a rumor. "They say this dorm is haunted." Lin Yaohan barked out a laugh. "Haunted? Don't be ridiculous. Ghosts don't exist." Young's eyes lit up with curiosity. "What kind of ghost?" Kwon Ryul's tone dropped. "They say it's the spirit of a student who died during a survival task. Every year on the second night of the training camp, it rains, and bad things happen. Everyone who got hurt had one thing in common. Someone tapped them on the back right before it happened. When that happens, don't turn around. If you do, you'll see something terrifying. So stay inside tonight, alright?" Young's face brightened with excitement. "That's so cool. I kinda wanna see it for myself." Ro Minam immediately put on the charm. "If you're scared, call me." Siwa showed no reaction. She declined flatly. Lin Yaohan slammed the table. "This is ridiculous. I'm out. This is boring." Young teased him. "Scared already?" He shot back. "I'm tired. I need sleep." "Maybe you're short because you stay up all night." The two bickered and left. Siwa glanced at the table. She'd slipped a sleeping pill into the water. Lin Yaohan hadn't taken a sip. Annoying. That night the rain came down hard. Lin Yaohan stood alone by the main gate, jolting at a flash of lightning. Kwon Ryul's ghost story had kept him up. He only went out to use the restroom and was eager to get back to bed. Suddenly a chill ran down his spine. Someone tapped him on the shoulder from behind. The night before, Siwa had slipped out while A Young slept to look for Lin Yao-han. In the original plot, it was A Young who went searching for the ghost and ran into him. A Young had wanted to try her luck, hoping to see her departed parents, but instead she and Lin Yaohan ended up in danger. After Siwa soothed A Young back to sleep, only Lin Yaohan remained. The problem: how to get him to drink the sleeping pill as planned. It wasn't safe to force anything, she'd have to improvise. Finding him in the hallway, she decided to play it cool and asked, "Lin Yaohan, what are you doing out here?" He didn't answer, just suddenly turned around and collapsed right into her. Siwa didn't even have time to react before he fell on top of her. "Lin Ya, get off me," she hissed, but the guy didn't move an inch. Struggling, she pushed him off, realizing the fearless tough guy had actually fainted from fright. She sighed, slipped the pill into his mouth and thought, well, that was easier than expected. She was about to leave him there, but when she saw the pained expression on his face, she hesitated. When Lin Yaohan finally opened his eyes, the first thing he saw was Siwa's face hovering over him. He bolted upright, startled. "What did you do to me?" Siwa's voice was cold. "Shouldn't I be asking that? I was heading to the bathroom, saw you passed out and helped. You're welcome." His face burned with embarrassment. "No way. I actually fainted," but he quickly covered it up. "Yeah right. Must have been your cooking that knocked me out. If you're going to the bathroom, just go. No need to act like we're close," she shot back, taking a deep breath. "Just treat him like a tall, annoying kid. We're friends, aren't we? Of course I couldn't just leave you lying there." Lin Yaohan scoffed. "Friends? Don't make me laugh. You and I will never be friends." Coincidentally, Siwa felt exactly the same. With her goal accomplished, she didn't bother arguing. "Fine. I only helped because you were unconscious. If that offends you, sorry." Then she turned and walked away. Lin Yaohan stood frozen, torn between confusion and irritation. Did Choi Siwa actually think of me as a friend? When he looked at Siwa, his blood ran cold. Something eerie was floating right behind her, its hollow gaze locked on her back. The next morning, the survival task began, two-person shooting duels. And of course she got paired with Lin Yaohan again. The guy looked half dead already, hiding behind a tree and yelling, "Come any closer and I'll shoot." A rustling sound came from behind. Sensing danger, Siwa dodged to the side instinctively. A gunshot rang out, she stumbled and fell hard onto the ground. Kang Min-hyuk appeared out of nowhere, radiating a murderous aura just so you can dodge that fast. Guess that injured ankle was a lie. Siwa froze. Did he supposed to be in another zone? How did he get here? Choi Siwa, he said coldly, I'll admit you're different now. That's why I've tolerated you. But lately, everything you do screams manipulation. What the hell are you planning? Siwa looked genuinely confused. What are you even talking about? Still pretending, he snapped. Whatever, that I don't care about your reasons. Once I eliminate you, this ends. Seeing his finger tense on the trigger, she shouted, wait. When did I ever hurt you? Stop making things up. He didn't lower the gun. That you've gotten good at playing innocent, haven't you? He said, voice dripping with sarcasm. Siwa laughed it off to buy time, cursing the idiot inside. Did he just see something and misunderstand me again? She thought fast. Fine. Throw the gun away. Okay, I'll toss the gun. That will talk this out. You wouldn't stoop to shooting someone who surrenders, right? Kang Min-hyuk didn't budge. Siwa, sure he still wanted to hit her, played the wounded act. My ankle from yesterday really hurts, she whimpered, pitching herself as fragile. Unable to justify harsher measures in public, he decided to take her back. Hope she'd forfeit on her own. But Siwa was already scheming. The moment he relaxed, her right hand slipped toward the paint can behind her. There was only one shot. She hooked her left arm over his shoulder to pin him, then lunged with her other hand. He was faster than she expected. Every move she made was dodged. Kang Min-hyuk ground his teeth. Choi Siwa, so you were lying again. Refusing to give up, she grabbed a handful of dirt and flung it straight at his face. While he blinked and could not see, she screamed, Lin Yaohan, run. By the time he recovered, she was gone. He lost it, furious. Choi Siwa, if I catch you, you're dead. Far off, Kwon Ryul watched it all unfold with a satisfied look. What a show. Meanwhile, Ro Minam pulled off a triple kill. The opposing team cursed, shouting he must be cheating. Oh, Minam laughed. Nah, you guys just suck. Try practicing sometime. Gunfire echoed in the distance. The rain-soaked ground from last night made every step slippery. He couldn't help worrying about Siwa. At that moment, Siwa was searching frantically for Yi Young. The broadcast blared. 10 minutes left in the mission. I end the novel. June was supposed to push the heroine off the cliff 5 minutes before the end. She ran through the downpour, heart pounding. Even though she tried to redirect June's hatred, there was no guarantee Young was safe. Time was running out. In her rush, she slipped and fell hard, worsening her injury. Of course, bad luck. Kwon Ryul showed up. You really tried to run, huh? Too bad you didn't get far. Then he fired, hitting someone behind her. A would-be ambusher dropped to the mud. Lost your gun too, he sneered. She knew better than to play mind games with him, already thinking of a way out. He crouched beside her with a mocking smile. Need help? Just say please, and I might consider it. She knew him too well. Kwon Ryul never helped for free. Owe him once and you'd pay dearly. Save it, she said flatly. Do what you came to do. He looked genuinely surprised, then laughed. Guess I really am the villain in your eyes. You don't actually think I'd shoot an unarmed girl, do you? Siwa muttered under her breath. Yeah, that's exactly what you do. Kwon Ryul yanked her up with a half smile. That look on your face really hurts, you know. Guess you do hate me. I'm not as bad as you think. How about trying to trust me, just once? He straightened her posture, then shoved the gun into her hands. Now, can you trust me? A heartbeat later, he turned the barrel toward himself, eyes burning with madness. Seo, I truly want you to win. Meanwhile, Yi Young was walking with Jiyoon, her face uneasy. Jiyoon frowned. What's wrong with you? Yi Young admitted she was worried Siwa might catch a cold in the rain, maybe even collapse. She was thinking of going to find her. Jiyoon's jealousy towards Siwa and Kang Min-hyuk boiled over. She couldn't stand it anymore. Don't be naive, she whispered. The reason your classmates turned on you, it was Siwa, she started it. Yi Young fell silent, head bowed. When she lifted her face again, it was wet with tears and rain. That's too much. She stepped closer, muttering, Jin Seo would never do that. Why are you lying about her? A chill ran down Jiyoon's spine. Her body froze. She couldn't move, could only watch Yi Young approach. Siwa is my only friend. Yi Young's voice was cold, emotionless. She's part of me. How dare you speak ill of her in front of me? Jiyoon tried to scream, but no sound came out. Fear swallowed her whole. Then she fell. The cliff swallowed her into darkness. Anyone who tries to come between me and Si. "It can't be forgiven," Yi Young whispered. Her tone was eerily calm, empty of all humanity. In the distance, an alarm blared. Lin Yaohan collapsed to the ground, gasping for air. He couldn't believe Siwa had pushed herself this far. The first-place team got to stay in a hotel. Lin Yaohan jumped at the chance. After seeing a ghost last night, there was no way he was sleeping in the dorm again. He blamed that bastard Quan Riol for the stupid ghost story. Thunder rolled non-stop, his gaze turning distant. Memories surfaced. Someone had once told him a similar tale about a haunted school, also on a rainy night. He clutched his head, eyes squeezed shut, trembling like he was fighting something deep inside. Suddenly, a hand patted his shoulder. Then he was yanked around. Siwa stood there, furious. "Lin Yaohan," she growled, "I finally found you." Her wet tongue brushed his cheek, chilling, unnatural. He screamed and shoved her away. Siwa hit the ground again, probably for the 10th time today, and muttered through gritted teeth, "I swear when I get back he's the first one I'll kill." When she looked up again, Lin Yaohan was running straight toward the cliff. Panic blinded him. By the time he saw the edge, it was too late. He was trapped. "If I ever sign up for another training camp, I'm an idiot," he cursed, stepping back. The ground shook violently, cracking beneath his feet. He fell. At the last moment, Siwa caught his hand. Her voice trembled with exhaustion. "Didn't I tell you not to run?" Lin Yaohan stared at her in shock. He never expected her to save him. The next second, Lin Yaohan's face twisted in horror. The ghost girl's tongue slid across his cheek again. His soul nearly left his body. He passed out cold. "Unbelievable," Siwa groaned. Alone, she couldn't possibly pull him up. A gun clattered nearby. Ro Minam burst onto the scene, shouting her name. Siwa turned weakly. "Hang on." Ro Minam yelled, "I'm coming." But the ground cracked again. One more step and he'd fall too. She couldn't let him die because of her. "See, what are you doing? Stop. Stop right now," his desperate voice echoed through the storm. A thunderous splash swallowed his scream. Both vanished into the raging river below. She never imagined she'd actually jump off a cliff for one of her own characters. Even performing CPR on him now, how could she care so much for someone who wasn't real? "Please, wake up." Lin Yaohan jolted awake, gasping, drenched in sweat. A worried friend hovered over him. "Hey, what happened?" "Leave me alone," he snapped. The friend's eyes watered and he instantly softened. "It was just a dream," he muttered awkwardly. "A ghost was chasing me, said it wanted to eat me." The blonde kid didn't comfort him at all, just stared blankly. Lin Yaohan felt awkward. "Great, just like my sister. You think I'm an idiot too?" His friend panicked. "No. It's just, you've always seemed perfect to me. I didn't think you could be scared of anything. I'm sorry." Lin Yaohan's expression softened. "Fine, I'll forgive you this time." He had no idea. There's no such thing as a forever friend. A few weeks later, Jean Chan lost a piano competition. He played terribly, and shame kept him from even going home. "I'll talk to your mom," Lin Yaohan offered brightly. "I'll convince her not to scold you." But Jean Chan changed the subject. "They say there's a ghost in the school gym. I want to see it. Maybe then, going home won't feel so scary." Lin Yaohan was terrified of ghosts, but he went anyway, for his friend. That night left a scar he'd never forget. He was shoved into the pitch-dark gym and heard the door slam shut behind him. Jean Chan's voice came from the other side, trembling with rage. "You make me feel small. You'll never understand. You took everything that should have been mine." He'd loved the piano once. But at some point the music stopped bringing him joy. Every judge's stare felt like a death sentence, like he was a beast trapped in an arena. No matter how hard he worked, he was always second to Lin Yaohan. By coincidence, they'd chosen the same piece for the competition. The moment Jean Chan heard Lin Yaohan play, he realized the truth. No matter how hard he worked, he could never beat a natural-born genius. From then on, every second spent with Lin Yaohan felt like hell. If he could turn back time, he'd rather have never met him at all. Lin Yaohan screamed his name, pounding on the locked door, promising he'd never touch the piano again. No answer came. Locked in that tiny room for hours, thunder crashing outside, he passed out over and over, his mind fracturing. No one came to save him. He learned one cruel lesson: trust always leads to betrayal. That kind of mistake, once in a lifetime, is enough. When he finally woke, his eyes darted towards Siwa in panic. What are you planning to do to me this time? But before he could finish, she collapsed, exhausted. I don't even have the strength to argue, she muttered. Just, let me rest. She lay there bleeding, her ankles still raw and red. Why does she keep helping me? He told her to stay away, she should have listened. Did you really think I'd be grateful for this? He snapped. Meanwhile, Yi-young broke down completely after hearing Siwa had gone missing, once again blaming herself for everything. Kang Min-hyuk sighed helplessly. Shin Yi-young, even if you cry here all night, Choi Siwa won't come back. Let's go home. He reached out, but she slapped his hand away. Don't touch me. You promised. You said you'd protect her. I'm sorry, he said quietly. Sorry? Her voice broke. Do you even mean that? Or did you never plan to protect her at all? Min-hyuk exhaled again. I'll be more careful next time. Now go back. Yi-young fought his grip, struggling to break free. She slapped him hard across the face. I said no. Can't you just let me be alone for once? His patience snapped. I said, get up. If something happens to Siu, she shouted, I won't live either. Do what you want, he replied coldly. But as long as I'm alive, I won't let you die. He gripped her hand tightly, his face dark. And no matter what it takes, I'll keep you alive. So stop wasting your strength. Siwa came to and realized Lin Yaohan was holding her. She tried to sit up but couldn't move, so she yelled for him to let go. He only tightened his grip. Stop squirming. Sit still. Your ankles hurt, don't make it worse. Only then did she notice her wound had been treated. Her fingers brushed his skin. He was burning hot. What's wrong with you? Why are you so hot? She asked. He snapped, irritated. She yanked free, grabbed his arm and said flatly, do you even understand what's happening? We need to assess our situation before we can plan anything. Their faces were inches apart. His mind stuttered as he remembered the mouth-to-mouth earlier. His gaze flicked, unbidden, to her lips. He shoved her away. Siwa panted, furious. What's wrong with you, Lin Yaohan? You're the crazy one. Why do you keep saving me? Because you were in danger, he said, voice low. She scoffed. Are you stupid? We jumped off a cliff. You can't just brush that off. Did you really think we couldn't have died? That set him off. I'm not stupid. Do you even think at all? Did it ever occur to you we might have died? Seeing him angry, Siwa calmed, grabbed his chin and leveled him with a cool stare. You think you're some tough fighter. Why do you keep testing people's patience? I told you not to run, she sneered. But you stir trouble and can't shut up about it. He looked blank. She suddenly smiled. Sharp and dangerous. I can fight, want to feel what it's like to get hit by me? Lin Yaohan suddenly flushed and looked away. You really don't care about that kiss just now? After the training camp ended, he opened up to her. Siwa finally learned why he'd been avoiding her. He'd seen the ghost that clung to her and had been terrified. Siwa tried to apologize, but he was worried, afraid she might spill his fear of ghosts. What do you take me for? If I wanted to ruin you, I've got better ways. Hire someone to bury you alive, he snapped, losing his temper. Siwa shot back, wow, you hate me that much. You're rude and crude. There's no way I'd like you. But I don't hate you either. So don't act like you own me. Her bluntness left him embarrassed and oddly ashamed. Then she added, don't worry. My watch has GPS. Once the rain stops, they'll find us. Lin Yaohan turned his head and avoided looking at her. Strange, he who feared tight, dark spaces suddenly wished time would slow down. Meanwhile, Kang Min-hyuk's morning stunt had thrown the two of them into the spotlight. Wasn't he with that pretty guy? Already cheating? People whispered. Even Kwon Ryul was surprised to see them so cozy early in the morning. Siwa hid her face deeper. Don't joke. I'm already miserable enough to die. Kwon Ryul laughed. So you two didn't fight today? She glared at Min-hyuk. Don't bring it up. He's so strong, he snapped my cane. Min-hyuk stayed stone-faced. If I didn't break you, be thankful. Siwa sneered. One day I'll take you out. He replied coolly, bring it on. Be careful on your way home, she said. Thanks for caring so much, he replied sarcastically. Kwon Ryul cut in, smirking. Keep bickering like that and you two will end up falling in love. Both shouted in unison, no way. Are you insane? Ryul cleared his throat. Anyway, it's time for annual club applications. Siwa suddenly remembered. Around this time, Kim Myung-suk developed his split personality. The cause. The thug Choi Sung-wei that he forced Myung-suk to join his club, then bullied him relentlessly. When Yi-young tried to protect him, she got hurt, and that incident triggered his trauma. Siwa knew she had to keep the two apart. She then noticed Kang Min-hyuk staring. When she looked up, he asked, "Which club are you applying for?" "Don't tell me, it's the same as mine?" "Either you follow me or I follow you," he said flatly. "Ugh, here we go again," Sia muttered. "This guy even snapped my cane just to walk me to school. How long are you planning to tail me?" She snapped. Min-hyuk's tone was cold. "I have one goal. My club. And I told you I'm not saying which." "That cane was borrowed from school," she warned. "Break another one and you'll lose credits. And wipe that creepy look off your face." "Choi Siwa, I don't owe you anything. But your injury's a pain to deal with, so while I'm being nice, just tell me." His sharp glare made her want to scream. This is him talking nicely. He looks ready to kill me. Meanwhile, her fake boyfriend Ro Minom was struggling too. Thanks to their overworked, half-mad president, the once glorious manga club now had only 3 surviving members. The friend who was supposed to come with Minom bailed. After getting wrecked at the training camp, he just ghosted them. "Fine, then bring your girlfriend," the pink-haired kid blurted. He shook his head, pretty sure she'd shut him down in a second. Then his phone buzzed. Siwa had messaged him first, asking him to meet. Instantly pumped, the pink-haired kid thought. Wait, could she actually get rid of her own boyfriend? If she tries, I'll hang on to her ankle and never let go. Problem was, nobody explained how the 3 of them would all meet at once. He felt like he was about to be exposed. Siwa complained to him. "He's been pestering me since morning about which club to join. I can't take it. That's why I called you. No matter what I do, I can't shake him off." Inspiration hit him. If Siwa joins the club, Kang Min-hyuk will tag along, and then I get to protect her. 2.2 birds with one stone. He was ready to seize the chance. Then Siwa asked him straight up, "So, can you help me?" His mind went blank for a moment. "Say that again," he stammered. "Can you help me?" she repeated. His eyes lit up like someone who'd just seen a jackpot. "Ugh, seriously? The way you ask for my help is totally cheating," he groaned. Siwa blinked, not understanding, but he was already leaning against her shoulder, completely smitten. He was losing it. So I like clingy girls now. It was supposed to be a fake relationship, yet his head was full of chaotic thoughts. Siwa mistook his silence. "If you don't want to." "No," Ro Minom grinned. "If you asked me to grab a star from the sky right now, I'd do it for you." Siwa urgently needed to shake off that lunatic Kang Min-hyuk and find Kim Myung-suk, the one who would soon awaken his second violent personality. The pink-haired boy stepped between them. "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" Seeing Min-hyuk's confusion, he smirked. "You didn't know. I'm chasing away a stalker bothering my adorable girlfriend. What can I say? She's too popular. I worry." "You're insane. Choisia came to class sick. How can you leave her alone like that? And who the hell are you to care? You psycho freak. You cling to her like glue. It's disgusting. You should have treated her right back then instead of crawling after her now. What's your deal?" Min-hyuk frowned. Clearly, the guy had no idea what had really happened last time. He's always like this, he thought, pushing through injuries, ignoring advice, ending up bruised all over. Just thinking about it made him furious. She's in this state and he can still act calm. Is he stupid or obsessed? Annoying Mr. Min-hyuk, the pink-haired kid mocked. "You should give up already. Go find another crush." The words barely left his mouth before Min-hyuk lunged forward, throwing a hard punch straight at him. Ro Minom dodged and raised a hand. Right then, the no-attack bell rang. "Hey Kang Min-hyuk. Lunch is over. Let it go for now." Min-hyuk clicked his tongue. "Next time you interfere, I'll snap your head off." Ro Minom smirked. "I'll be waiting to see you try." Watching him walk away, Ro Minom thought Min-hyuk was a real handful. After all, Siwa had asked him to block the guy. The kid's hand trembled slightly. For a comic artist, hands are everything. Speaking of the club, Ro Minom suddenly called after him. "Wait, didn't you hear me? Stop. Do you want to join our club?" Min-hyuk shot back, "Scram. Come on," Ro Minom begged. "Think about it. We have Siwa in our club." He promptly forgot that Siwa had asked him to keep Min-hyuk away. Meanwhile, the person Siwa had been looking for, Kim Myung-suk, was being beaten. The once cold, dominant kid was now weak and scared. Trauma had shut him down. He took every blow and only endured. After being struck down, he couldn't move. Someone sneered, "Kim Myuk, you've been doing great. Legs hurt and you're still so cheerful, huh?" Choi Sung-wei snarled, "I told you to be my punching bag. That you've been getting cocky lately. Are you trying to die?" One of his cronies hissed, "Don't hit the face. Don't get caught or we'll have trouble." Choi ignored the warning and spat. "None of your business, shut up." Then he issued his demand. Kim Myung-suk had to sign up for his club, because a soft target like that was hard to come by. "Try any tricks and I'll break your legs." Choi Sung-wei said it, then walked away. Kim Myung-suk lay on the ground, every inch of him aching that he didn't know how long he'd have to endure this. He wanted to run away. "You okay?" Siwa appeared out of nowhere. "Can you stand?" He shakily sat up. Why was she here? How much had she seen? Remembering she'd approached him before, he didn't want anyone else dragged into his mess. He asked her to stay away. Siwa stared. "Don't join the Taekwondo club." Myung-suk froze. She'd seen it that if she got too close, she'd be pulled into danger too. "Thanks for caring, but please don't worry about me. Don't say no. Ever heard you become like who you're close to? I've been under someone's bad influence lately. So even if you beg me to leave, I won't. I've picked up too many bad habits from him. While I'm still talking sense, you'd better listen." Myung-suk's head screamed no, but the words wouldn't come. He wanted to run more than anything. Siwa's smile was suddenly huge and gentle. "It's okay. Run away with me." He wavered. This would put her in danger. He couldn't be selfish, but he didn't want more hits. Who would get him out of here? In the end he nodded. Inside he cursed himself, a hopeless piece of trash. I'm sorry. He wanted to escape so badly that he seized even the smallest chance. She should have known. Men's words aren't to be trusted. The club only had 3 new members and she ran right into Kang Min-hyuk. The pink-haired boy grinned. "Looks like we're soulmates." Siwa deadpanned. "If that's true, I'd rather die." He teased. "What, are you shy now?" The dying manga club somehow still wasn't disbanded. The pink-haired kid looked up at the newcomer with starry eyes. It turned out to be a famous manga artist hired as the club's mentor, tempted by the chairman's offer of double pay. Only after starting did he realize it was more painful than meeting weekly deadlines. This year's recruits looked completely unrelated to manga. Especially that annoying GUY.RO Minam fired off introductions like bullets, as noisy as ever. When Kim Myung-suk's turn came, he stammered, I like that cartoon. The one called Peru." The name was something Siwa had made up on the spot for copyright reasons. The teacher asked, "And you?" Siwa said, "I like Peru too." The teacher forced a laugh. "Ha? A timeless classic indeed. Is this contagious?" Kang Min-hyuk frowned. "Bao Lulu. Seriously? You even said the name wrong and still sound proud of it?" In the end, except for the only 2 normal people, everyone else got sorted into Team Peru, set to join the upcoming manga contest. Ro Minam was fired up, ready to lead the charge, until he got kicked straight into the ditch by his own recruits. Of course he didn't give up. "Let's do a club retreat. We'll come up with the story together." Siwa agreed. It'd make protecting Kim Myung-suk easier. Even with the bullying evidence, expulsion wouldn't happen overnight. "I'm in." Myung-suk quietly nodded. As for Kang Min-hyuk, wherever Siwa went he'd show up. Meanwhile, in the student council, 2 recent withdrawals, Lee Ji-suk and Ji-yoon, had both interacted with Choi Siwa, making her a person of interest. And the one assigned to observe her was her own classmate Kwon Ryu. Lee Jun-shu, who knew Kwon Ryul's personality well, cornered him. "You behind both incidents?" he demanded. Kwon Ryul shrugged it off. "As if I'd done it, I wouldn't have let her stop so easily. I was just bored. Wanted some chaos." Lee Jun-shu worried aloud. He was afraid Kwon Ryul might get into real trouble. Kwon Ryul wasn't bothered. "Don't worry, senior. Since you brought up Seo, do me a favor. If she asks about me, tell her to come to my place." Lee Jun-shu scowled. "Aren't you in the same class? Why drag me into this?" Kwon Ryul grinned. "It's strategy. Play hard to get. Constantly attacking has no charm. So I need you." Lee Jun-shu called him sick, then muttered that Kwon Ryul was the one who needed a hospital. Meanwhile, blue-haired Lin Yaohan sat in the chapel listening intently. After all, his stat was afraid of ghosts. 10 white-haired kids, 9 of them crazy. Lin wasn't just crazy, he was full-on antisocial. As Kwon Ryul predicted, Siwa showed up at the student council. Only this time she dragged along a big tail. Lee Jun-shu smoothly diverted Kang Min-hyuk and pretended to offer tea, while cursing Kwon Ryul 100 times in his head. He'd never let himself be used by that guy again. Sure enough, Siwa's first question was where Kwon Ryul was. Without hesitation, Lee Junshu sold Quan Riel out. Quan Riel said, "Tell her to come to my place. I'll be waiting," playing hard to get. Siwa sighed that I'll pretend I didn't hear that. She stood up ready to leave. He didn't expect her to be that cold. Was Quan Riel in unrequited love? If he cared this much, something must have happened between them. Curious, he asked for her number, only to be flat out rejected. "Wait," he blurted, "I'll help you once, that if you ever need something I'll be there." Hua stopped. "All right. Give me a pen and paper, I already have something you can help with. You know first-year Choi Sungwei, right? Make him drop out. I have proof he assaulted someone. Shouldn't be too hard for you. If you agree to help with 3 more things, I'll help you find that video this semester." Lee Junshu had a bad feeling that I don't really get what you're talking about. Siwa smirked that if you've got some masochistic urge to be Quan Riel's slave for life, I won't stop you. Just a tip. Fix that habit of stealing things. Still trapped on Quan Riel's pirate ship, Lee Junshu found himself caught by Siwa's hand again. When he finally confronted Quan Riel, the guy was calmly changing clothes. "You knew all along, didn't you?" Quan Riel smiled faintly. "Why does Choi Siwa write with her right hand, when she's actually left-handed?" "I thought you were going to say something else. I checked her twice. Of course I know what's up. On her entrance exam day, the CCTV shows she was using her left hand." Quan Riel flipped open Siwa's dossier. "I'm curious too. Her habits, handwriting, even the way she talks changed overnight. She doesn't even recognize her childhood friend anymore. Isn't that weird? So what are you going to do? Weren't you the one who wanted her dead?" Lee Junshu pressed. "I was planning that," Quan Riel admitted, "but seeing them try so hard to get rid of her sparked something in me that I kinda want to help now." At that moment, Choi Sungwei started arguing with his cronies. The trigger was Kim Myung-suk. Sungwei didn't want anyone meddling. The red-haired thug mocked, thinking Myung-suk was too scared to act. In Sungwei's memory, Myung-suk used to be different, covered in blood like a demon. Back then Myung-suk trembled and begged, "I was just joking." "A joke?" Sungwei sneered at, "You'd fart about a joke at death's door." "Fine, let me joke with you.